Hello and good morning, everybody. Morning, LinkedIn. Welcome to this month's episode of HR Buzz Live. We had a month off, as you may have noticed. Everyone seemed to be on holiday, but we're back today and we're talking about something that I think has become increasingly important for anyone working in HR, and that is finding your people. Things with organizations is that they're just groups of people, right? You know, the kind of organization itself is this made up thing, but what really makes it tick is the people inside it. And anyone who's ever been worked in a business, run a business, been a manager in a business knows that the success of any business unit, any organization, it thrives or dies on its people. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. How do you build a successful community? Because this is really what it's all about. You know, an organization is just a community of people within a wider community that might be a city, a country, etc. Now, HR has always been one of those slightly unusual professions where you spend an awful lot of time supporting everybody else. But who supports HR? This is a question that gets asked a lot in HR circles. And now we've got AI changing how we work, new technology arriving almost daily, changing employee expectations, and some pretty big workplace questions that we need to navigate and get to grips with. Qualifications and traditional conferences absolutely have their place, but increasingly some of the best learning happens through the conversations we have with other people who are wrestling with exactly the same things that we are. So today we're asking, how do you find your HR squad? What does a genuinely useful professional community actually look like? And joining me is someone who, well, she knows a thing or two about this subject. Michelle Hartley is the founder and Chief Geek Officer, what a fantastic job title, by the way, of People Sorted and the HR Geek Squad. She's also the woman behind the Great Geek Together, who we partnered with at last year's DisruptHR event, and we invited all of her people along to that, which was fantastic. We're doing something similar this time as well. More about that later. And she's someone who firmly believes that professionalism doesn't have to mean becoming less of a human, right? So, Michelle, welcome to HR Buzz.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
The pleasure is all ours. Now, first things first, what is a HR squad?
Yeah, and I feel like in HR it's an extra special thing, because a lot of us are like standalone HR people, not really having a team around us. And we always get held. I don't know if this is your experience, Jamie, but HR people always get held at arm's length. Like nobody wants to be your friend, nobody wants to go to lunch with you, nobody wants to walk in your office. So I feel like having a squad in HR is like doubly important. So for me, it's about like having a safe space where you can do those like, oh my god, this just happened moments, but also where you can ask like advice, you can have mates that are going through the same kind of thing, and kind of just get in a space where you just genuinely feel like you're understood. Because I feel like in organizations HR just isn't really understood, and it's just left in a darkened room on its own a lot of the time.
Yeah, I feel that, and it's certainly echoed in a lot of the conversations I have with people. And it's similar. It reminds me of some of like the kind of director circles or upper management circles. You know, those job positions too can be quite lonely because there's almost a level of suspicion in the same sort of way as there can be with HR. It's like, are they on my side or are they on the side of the business? Can I trust this person? You know, this could be the person that is going to help you overcome a mental health challenge or give you some much needed support, but it could also be someone who's dealing with a disciplinary and ultimately terminating your employment. So there's always that kind of trepidation around that kind of role, isn't there? How do you get around that then as a HR person, HR professional?
How do I get around having that like mega confidential, nobody likes me scenario?
Yeah, definitely. Because you said that kind of community is so important for that reason. How do you go around building communities that not just within HR? Because it's important to stretch. You've got to have that core community, but it's important to kind of go outside of those circles and build that wider network as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was in in-house HR, I used to have quite a good like local network where I'd be going to local events and that kind of stuff. So I always recommend people to do that anyway in general terms. But I think like having that wider view on stuff can be really helpful, even in terms of like having that extra challenge, like elements of someone going, well, hang on a minute, you said this, but it doesn't really mean that. So I think, having that wider space where you just broaden your thinking is really, really important. So I think you're right. It's definitely like a bigger picture scenario when you're looking at community and trying to kind of make make friends in HR. That sounds really lame, doesn't it? Like having a space where you can just be yourself, you can be understood, and you can share stuff. And it sounds so basic, but it makes such a massive difference in a job like HR, where you're massively restricted by confidentiality, what's going on in the organization, and what you can and can't say. So yeah, I think it's really important to have a bigger community around you.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that you tried to achieve with the Great Geek Squad, and something that certainly appealed to us when we first started getting involved in the Disrupt HR events. It was that safe space where, you know, in a world of HR, there's a lot of subjects that are quite taboo. There's a lot of, you can say this, but you really can't say that, or you've got to say that in that particular way. And I think obviously some of that has a place, but it can stifle conversation. And actually what we need to move forward, regardless of what it is we need to move forward with or overcome, conversation is actually the way to do that. And so it's important for people to have that community where they actually can go and say things that might be a bit taboo, or think outside the box and kind of work through some of these thoughts and feelings without that worry of being judged or having an impact on their career.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the biggie. I mean, one of the things we say in the Geek Squad is always like, we'll meet you where you're at. Like, you show up however you are, however you're feeling, whatever you're doing, you show up and we'll meet you where you're at. Because often, again, another like HR angle is this pressure to be the perfect being all the time, like because you're the one that has to enforce the rules, be the organizational conscience, as you said, be the one that rocks up in a disciplinary. Actually being able to just show up as you are, whether that's stressed, tired, hungry, angry, lonely, drunk, like just show up as you are and we will find a space for you. Like, that's what I love about it. And it really feels, and it's weird because, and I guess we'll get onto this, but it's weird because we've got a WhatsApp group. That's where our community lives, is in WhatsApp. And it's the most like basic tool, isn't it? It's not even a community in WhatsApp. It's just a big WhatsApp chat. And actually, when we meet in real life, it literally isn't weird because we've all met each other in WhatsApp and we know so much about each other and each other's lives just from WhatsApp. It blows my mind sometimes that we've created something that has such a great sense of like belonging, friendship, support, you know, just this great space where you can drop in and be like, oh my God, this just happened. But we haven't ever met in real life. That it's the weirdest thing ever. So yeah, I think technology plays a big part in creating some of that community space as well. Whereas years ago, we wouldn't have had that in the same way. So I feel like that's a nice kind of progression of technology as we've gone on, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's a kind of nice segue into something else I wanted to talk with you about. And that's the kind of the age of AI that is all of a sudden upon us and seems to be moving from strength to strength, if you want to call it that, literally day by day. You know, everything's changing, and it's hard to know what kind of world we're actually going to be in a couple of years' time. You know, whereas that horizon might have been 10, 30 years out in the past. Now it's like we're not sure actually year to year what the world of work and what daily life is going to look like. So why does community matter even more now in the age of AI than it did before?
Yeah, I genuinely think as we get more kind of AI stuff encroaching on our jobs and our daily life, I think having something like a community is so important, because that's the space where you get to be a human being. And I think that's what's going to become more and more important as time goes on, is the humanness of what we're bringing to the party. And I think that's where we're going to start seeing big changes, actually, is we will have less tactical stuff to do, less analysis stuff to do, because AI is going to cover it all for us. But actually, the human stuff is going to become so much more powerful because there's going to be so much less of it in the jobs that we do, ironically. So I think that the community bit for me is very much about being able to be human and show up, and that's the added value that you don't get with AI. As much as you can use AI, can't you, to like be your friend and chat to you and give you a little bit of therapy, it's not the same as real life. I was on a call last week, and we were talking about AI, and the highest use of AI is like conversation as a friend. And that's what I find mind-blowing. So we've got this great, amazing thing, this AI creation that's awesome. And we're using it, like 90% of us are using it to use it for like friendship and help and support. And I just think that that's so like also wonderful, but also odd, don't you think? Like, we've now got this great AI setup and these great learning language models, but actually we're using it to be more human, which I just find such an irony.
It's weird, isn't it? Because in the age, and I've said this ever since the dawn of social media, really, it seems to be that we're more connected now than we've ever been, in terms of, you know, you can have instant access to someone that's literally on the other side of the globe within seconds. Yeah. But it almost seems like we're more disconnected now than we have ever been. That kind of sense of community, even within traditional communities. I live in a small village in a kind of rural countryside. But even here, there's a bit of community, but it's not anything like what it used to be back in those, days gone by where, everyone knew each other. It literally took a village to raise a family. You could call on anyone to help with childcare and help out with this and that. And it seems like we've lost a little bit of that, even though we've developed these technologies that bring us more together. And what you were talking there about with that AI, I mean, that's really quite sad, isn't it? That so many people are having to turn to AI to have a friend, have someone to talk to, someone they can confide in, where they obviously haven't got that in their human communities. Now, you talk a lot here about being human. What does that actually mean? Like, how, as AI develops and it becomes more empathetic and more really like a live being, what's the distinction? What do you mean when you say be more human and bringing human to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, and I guess I'm coming at it really with that HR angle, but for me, and I used to say this a lot to my team when I was in-house HR roles, but like, it's okay to have emotions and it's okay to be frustrated about stuff. Whereas I think what we've done, particularly in the HR profession, is we've kind of made ourselves, ironically, we've made ourselves these robots. We've made ourselves these robots where we don't show emotion, or we can't show up and be like cross about anything in the organization. We can't just be like, oh my God, this is really frustrating. We have to be this like completely bland beige face. So for me, it's about being able to show up like literally as you are. If you're frustrated about something, share it. If you're sweary, have a little swear, like get it all out. If you've got a really weird, interesting, fascinating hobby, I want to hear about it. Like, I love that kind of stuff. I really love like getting under the skin of people in general. Maybe I'm like a frustrated psychologist at heart, but I love like understanding like how people work, like, and I want to know more beyond how you show up to a meeting with me. I want to know about like your life and what you're doing and what things really get you out of bed in the morning and what things really don't. Like, I love all of that stuff. I really want like the human element, and I don't think AI can do that. I mean, I was talking to my AI the other day, as one does, and it said something like, I said, oh, can you, if I send you a video, can you like, observe it and take points from it? And it said, oh, I can't really watch a video. And then it said, the thing that I see, I'm like, well, hang on a minute, you said you couldn't see the video. Like, and it really, like, it's a mind mess, isn't it? Like,
it's
really
kind of a people pleaser AI, isn't it?
Yeah, it really
to give
is.
you an answer that you want.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I'd rather have like a normal human being able to tell me what they enjoy and what they see and what they like. Like, don't pretend. That's just weird.
but here's a pushback to that, and I say this because I should imagine there's some people going to be watching this either live here with us now or on the replay that are thinking, well, that's all great, Michelle, but isn't that dangerous? To be your true self, to speak your true mind, to have a little swear in the office. We've culture where in those kind of human things, there's a reticence to engage. Things might hurt our careers. It might stop us progressing.
Yeah, and I think there's something about like showing up as your authentic self and having appropriate behaviors at work. Like, they can be two different things. Do you know what I mean? Like, thinking about I mean, I literally had this debate with somebody recently about that kind of principle of free speech. Like, free speech doesn't mean that you denigrate or hurt other people. Free speech means you're free to share your views on stuff. I do believe that's okay. Like, and I also believe that showing up at work, if your favorite thing is to have pink hair, like showing up with pink hair is cool. Like, do it, be yourself. Equally, I've had battles with various senior leaders over the years where people have said, she can't come into work, she's got pink hair. And I'm like, how does that prevent her from doing her job? So there's an element of like being able to show up as your authentic self. Absolutely. Like, you want pink hair, you've got tattoos, you want to bring in where your favorite cat is, like, do what you want, like, be happy and enjoy your life. But don't behave in a way that might upset or offend other people. Like, I think that the things are different. Like, being your authentic self and having the right kind of workplace behaviors are kind of almost two separate things. That's what I would say.
This is kind of like the line of the moving line of in the sand, though, isn't it? Is how responsible should someone be for someone else's feelings about how you behave or what you say? And I absolutely agree with you. There is that line in the sand where you cross it and you've gone too far, and it's absolutely unacceptable. But it's I think that line is blurred, and rather than a line now, it's almost like the kind of no man's land between North and South Korea, isn't it? You've not just got a line that you could cross.
Yeah.
It's like this huge expanse of space where you're like, oh, if I venture in there, I don't know actually where that ultimate line is.
Yeah.
And I might walk on it, step on a landmine,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I talk a lot about, and I've actually got like a product that I sell, but called Banter Bingo. And it's one of the things that I'm genuinely really fascinated by, is this like concept of banter. And it comes up a lot actually in conversations with HR people and at work, where they're like, well, it's just funny, isn't it? Like, it's just a joke, it's just a bit of fun. And when I'm talking about banter, I'm always like, well, it is a bit of fun until it isn't. And actually what's okay today might not be okay tomorrow, and what's okay tomorrow wasn't probably okay yesterday. So I think there is something about, like, we have a responsibility as like humans at work to understand actually when you're doing something that is too close to that line or close to the bone, and be able to kind of rein it in. But there is that balance between like being your authentic self and having fun and being funny versus banter versus something that has gone beyond that line and is actually something that is really offensive, painful, making someone else feel really miserable. But I do genuinely think you can be yourself and have fun at work without even engaging or getting near that line of kind of bantersome stuff. But you're right, stuff in terms of how we operate, the things we talk about, what constitutes like discrimination, for example, will change all of the time. But we've got a responsibility as humans to kind of know that and understand that it's always around and about you, isn't it? Like, even if you look at the latest, and I was going to swear then, I reined myself in, the latest guidance from the Equalities and Human Rights Commission about toilet use, for example, can only be used by people of the correct biological sex. Like, and how would you know? Who's going to police that? And that's the kind of stuff that I think gives like HR people and like workplaces like a bad name, because we've got this ridiculous guidance coming out of something that we can't police, is completely impossible, and it's actually making other people miserable. But that's come from the Equality and Human Rights Committee, so we don't always get it right. Even in very senior positions in government departments, we don't get it right. So yeah, it's a hard line to tread, I think, isn't it? Trying to work out like, oh, is this okay, and am I okay to show up as I am? But being your authentic self doesn't mean being offensive.
It's always shifting as well, isn't it? And I think there's an element of contracting with each individual person that you come across. You know, what's acceptable for me and my sales team to have banter about wouldn't necessarily be taken in the same way as banter with someone in the accounts department or someone of a different kind of ilk in terms of their personality, you know?
Yeah.
Like there is, and that's perhaps what makes it even more difficult as well, is there's not one hard and fast rule that you can apply across the board. It depends on the person that's in front of you.
Yeah. Totally get that. And you're right, there's like an element of knowing your audience, which I think is what you've described, like sales team banter versus accounts team banter is going to be very different. So yeah, knowing your audience is the key bit. But I think also there's this bit also of like, we don't necessarily kind of adjust our banter because it's always been okay, so therefore I'm going to keep doing it. But the reality is you will get new people in the team and suddenly their banter and that, like you said, that individual contracting suddenly is different and looks different because you've got somebody else in the team. So I think it is like an ever evolving thing that we just have to be really conscious of when we're at work. We just have to be minded that, you know, banter is something that is defined very carefully, I would say.
Excellent. So let's switch gears a little bit here, because I want to talk about the HR Geek Squad as well and the Great Geek Get Together. So tell us the story behind this. Where did it come from? What is it? What's its purpose?
So the squad itself started 4 years ago. And the event always happens on our geek birthday. So we started 4 years ago in September. And I started it because as a consultant, I missed having a team, and I missed somebody to ring up and be like, OMG, I've just got the best case ever. Like, it's bananas. You need to hear about it. And I missed like that team development side of things where we'd learn together. So I created like the Geek Squad, which was basically us getting together for an hour a month on Zoom where we'd learn stuff together. So it started off as like a CPD group where we just like help each other learn some cool stuff, hang out on Zoom. And what happened really quickly, probably within the first 2 or 3 sessions, is I was getting lots of messages from the geeks saying, oh, I had such a great time. Like, I miss chatting to everybody in the interim periods. Like, what can we do? And I was like, right, okay, let's do a WhatsApp group. So it was always intended to be Zoom learning event with a tiny little WhatsApp group on the side. Whereas now it's become this beautiful feral WhatsApp group with some Zoom sessions every month on the side. So it's intended to be like an HR safe space, but where you can really genuinely like cut loose, let go, have some fun, like, and join in. I've just seen the comment, it's feral. It is feral.
Lovely feral.
Like talking about banter, like, oh my word, if you get HR people into banter, it's deadly. Like if anyone took screenshots of our chat, we'd all be fired. But it's genuinely such a wonderful, like, safe space where we can all just cut loose. So the event spun out of the WhatsApp and the community that we created like a year later. So the event itself, this is our third one now, coming up in September. And the event is kind of, I always say it's like geeks WhatsApp in real life, like funny, sweary, hilarious, like loving, supportive, cheerleader style, like fun. But also with the event, what I want to do is almost like, and this is going to sound bad, like I almost want to like shake HR people, because sometimes HR people get stuck in a box, don't they? Of like, oh, computer says no, or oh no, well the law says this. And actually, what I want to do is shake that up, literally, quite literally, like disrupt it. Where what we don't, we don't have speakers talking about the future of HR and what's happening with AI and employment law, for example. A, because it's boring AF, but B, because those things are happening at every other event, right? And we don't need it because there's 20 other events doing that. And actually, we want to do something different. So I always try to have speakers from completely different perspectives and walks of life. So it will be something that you've probably never heard before, or a perspective that you've never really been aware of before. We have half of the agenda is given over to the HR Geek Squad members. So if there's members of the Geek Squad that have got something to say, there's something that they're really passionate about, something they want to share with the world, they come and talk and share their stuff as well. So they also get like the experience of being a speaker, but in probably what is the safest space ever. Like it's the most supportive space. They'll laugh at your jokes in the right places, even if you fluff them. Like it's just a lovely safe space for HR people to like get on the stage and start talking about stuff. So this year we've got a number of different speakers coming. So we've got Alison Thomas from Unique and Loved, who is going to be talking about her experience of belonging in the context of her child who has Down syndrome. So it's another like extra layer that perhaps HR people wouldn't get exposed to. Our headline speaker is Nicole McGill-Higgins, who is A, hilarious, but B, has a really interesting take on confidence and is going to be doing a talk called Channel Your Inner Mistress. So you get the idea that there's something really different going on here, and it's definitely not like employment law, AI, any kind of boring future of HR stuff. So it's something very different. And I do think it's almost a bit like the banter stuff, right? It's really Marmite. So people come and they love it and they never stop coming. Or people come and they're like, oh, that's like freaked me out a little bit there. Like there's something going on that's a bit odd. Like I was expecting a conference and some notepads and a really quiet space. It's not that. Like there's music, there's colour, there's fun, there's fidget toys. Like it's probably the most, I would say like the most inclusive conference that I think I've ever been to or created. Like my training sessions, I try to create to be super inclusive, but the event is just next level, like absolutely next level. So yeah, it's something really different.
Now, for our audience, if that hasn't sold it to you, I don't know what will. And the great news is that I think just there's a QR code that you can scan and you can get yourself some tickets and get involved with this event if it sounds like your kind of thing. And it sounds like it's not just you mentioned safe space before, but it sounds to me like it's also somewhat of an outlet for that community.
Yes, most definitely. Yes. Yeah, I think it's one of the things that was really important to me about creating the event itself, was creating a space where HR can actually experience that feeling of belonging, because we rarely get it. Like we said earlier, we're always out on the like outside of the organisation. We're always at arm's length. We're only ever brought in when something bad happens, or wheeled in like Hannibal Lecter on the trolley. So this is about like letting HR experience belonging in real life. Like everybody comes, even if you come on your own, somebody will welcome you. You'll find a mate. We'll have a chat. We'll tell you all about the event. It's a real, genuine belonging space, which is so different, I think, for HR people. So yeah, we try and do something interesting, different, and fun.
Yeah, sounds very similar to the ethos of Disrupt as well. So I'm sure all of our audience will love this event. So just to let everybody know, it's on the 12th of September. Is that right, Michelle?
11th.
Okay, 11th of September. And is it the studio in Birmingham?
Yes, in the studio in Birmingham.
Perfect.
10 till 5. 10 till 5. But we also include we include like prosecco and canapes 5 till 7 as well. So don't get the early train home.
I'm sold.
Come and drink.
If you weren't sold
prosecco
before, you're sold now.
We know our audience.
Yes, HR in my experience do like a drink. So in terms of this being kind of outside a traditional conference kind of feel, how do you promote learning outside of that traditional conference kind of, sit down, listen to a boring speaker about the same old topics? What's your approach? How do you really help that embed that learning?
Yeah, it's something that I do both in the conference, but also in any training that I run for like corporates and teams and stuff like that. Is basically, if you can engage more than one sense, then people will retain the learning like up to 70 to 90% versus 20 to 30% if they're just listening. So we always have, it's crazy. And we always have like simple things like fidget toys. We have each of the tables in the room are differently themed. So each geek hosts a table and they decide on their table theme. So you can come and you can join like a quiet table if you want, or you can come and join the table where they're painting random stuff on canvases. Like, so we're trying to get people to engage other senses in order to really embed that learning. This year particularly, we've also got a lot more space in the agenda for a lot more creative stuff. So we've got, and I'm keeping it a secret, but we've got a creative activity in the morning before lunch where everybody will get to actually do some hands-on creative stuff. And then we've got a creative activity in the afternoon where people are going to be like playing games at their table. That's as much as I can say. I want to say more, but I won't. Then they get to play creative games at their table. So it becomes like a wider learning experience, if you like. So yes, there's listening. Yes, there's cool speakers. Yes, you will learn something. But there's also this way of like holistic learning where you'll learn because you're doing stuff with your hands. You'll learn because you're able to do something creative and engage a different part of your brain. You'll learn because you'll be talking to other people on your table. But one of the other things that I think is also really important for any event is having like a quiet space. So we do also have, despite all of this carnage, feral, beautiful stuff, we do also have a quiet room. So we have a separate room away from the main event where people can just go and be quiet and absorb and just sit for a bit if they need that. And in that room is like nice music, nice lighting, cushions, beanbags, colouring, like nice, just restful stuff. And that's part of the learning as well. Like sometimes we just need time to process. And if you need to do that quietly, then you can go off and do it in a lovely space. So yeah.
It really is meeting people where they're at then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
I love how you bring those kind of kinesthetic elements into it as well, because like you say, most conferences, they focus on, just kind of listen. There's a bit of visual there, but not much really. But if you can bring that kind of feel, doing stuff with your hands in, I can absolutely see how that can create an incredible environment as well as really embedding those learnings.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to meet like awesome HR people who probably have some great / interesting war stories. That's my favorite thing. Whenever I meet a new HR person, it's like, oh, tell me your best HR war story.
I think war stories is the right way to describe it.
That is definitely how it feels. Oh, I think I've lost you. Are we still there? You're there. You're back. You're back.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You there, Michelle?
I am.
Have I lost you?
I'm here. I'm here. I think we lost each other.
Oh, you're coming in and out.
Oh no!
I
lost you.
Back.
You lost
Am I coming back? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, you're coming through now. Perfect. All right, we'll power on.
There's nothing like a bit of a tech problem, is there, to drive the adrenaline?
Internet, honestly, is a constant bane of my life. Anyway, one of the reasons this topic particularly resonates with me is that it's something that we're really trying to do with DisruptHR Birmingham as well. And we've got some fantastic speakers lined up this year. And we've got, I think, are you one of our fantastic speakers, Michelle?
Yes, I am. I'm very excited.
Fantastic. What a treat for all of our guests this year. We've got a few other people as well. So we've got Florence Hunter, Group Head of HR at Torrington Group. We've got Donna Harris, Partnerships Manager at Tusker. Brilliant sponsors this year as well. So Dr. Paul Jones, he's been with us a few years on the trot. Paul is a legend in himself. He's doing some fantastic work in the HR space and workplaces and all of that kind of thing. So really excited to hear what he's got to share with us this year. He's the Associate Dean at Aston University. We've then got Rob Woolen, People and Ops at DSG Finance, plus a load more that have been announced every week. So keep an eye on our pages and we'll keep you abreast of the new speakers that we're adding to the roster. DisruptHR deliberately takes away the kind of long corporate presentations that we've alluded to in our chat already. So speakers get 5 minutes, 20 slides, and it's 15 seconds per slide, and they auto advance. So this really is fast paced, it's interesting, it's fun, and every 5 minutes you're going to get a different presentation. So it's a really cool way to get information across, but to absorb that information as well. And it creates a really different energy where that presentation almost becomes a starting point, because you can only cover so much in 5 minutes, but it becomes that starting point for the conversation rather than being the whole reason for being there. And the conversations that follow in the audience are really, really interesting. So question for you, what is it about events like DisruptHR and the Great Geek Get Together that creates community rather than simply an audience?
Yeah, I think just doing something different creates a bit of community, doesn't it? Like whether it's like we're all surviving this together, or that we all love this kind of stuff. Like I just think it's awesome, and it creates almost like, because you're, again, it's that shaking the box thing, isn't it? Because you're shaking up the standard agenda and the standard principles of like conferences and events. It means that actually people are more interested and engaged in coming and joining in, because it's something so different. It kind of almost naturally creates that community and conversational space. And I'm really genuinely excited for Disrupt in Birmingham. I'm also absolutely petrified, by the way, because how am I going to control this for 5 minutes? But I'm really excited. I'm really genuinely excited. And the amount of people that have been telling me for the last few years that DisruptHR is the thing to go to, because it's always timed really similarly around the Geek Together. So it's definitely like, I feel like it's definitely my time now. I'm really excited to come, and it's just going to be fantastic. So yeah, I think the very fact that it's so different enables and creates that community space just because it's so different. And I think having like the 5-minute speaker principle means that nobody ever gets bored, nobody's going to be switching off, everybody's going to be engaged. And actually it forces the speakers to really think about what their kind of punchy elements are going to be of their talk, rather than, oh, here's a little filler slide, here's a little thing I can fluff. Like, it just means that everything is really kind of distilled down to its very best self. So I feel like that also creates a bit of community, because instantly you're getting great ideas, great concepts, new things to think about, and suddenly that creates a conversation. So yeah, I think it's the format itself and the shaking up of standard agendas is what creates a great community space as well, I think.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that kind of 5-minute piece with auto advancing slides, it doesn't leave any opportunity to waffle. Like my safe space when I'm speaking is I'll have my slides and I'll kind of talk around points, but the danger with that is sometimes you can go off onto a bit of a tangent, but there just isn't any time for that. And in a Disrupt presentation, in a lightning talk. So yeah, it's good fun, it's fast paced, and like I say, it's almost the conversations then that happen between those sessions, between those talks, where the real gold mine is, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah, and it's really, I guess you'll start as a speaker doing this kind of stuff. It's great because you can almost like plant, I was going to say throw a grenade. I feel like I'm coming at you with all the war stuff today, but like you can plant a seed, can't you, and then watch it kind of grow through the evening, because you're getting people to think about something really distilled down into its almost like perfect self. So yeah, I think it's great. And I also feel like
almost continues event to event as well, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like last year I sent a load of geeks, because last year you were the night before my event, and so I sent a load of geeks to you, and it was like their pre-party for the Geek Together. So like,
got warmed up for you.
You got descended upon by loads of geeks last year, but they all loved it. They all thought it was brilliant. So yeah, it was great.
And we can't wait to welcome everybody back again this year. You've certainly got a great crowd there, so we're very excited for that. I got a comment from Alison here, just I think replying to somebody else. It'll be brilliant. Fill my heart. Great to see you again too. Yeah, I mean the comments we've been getting throughout this stream, Michelle. You know, the people talking about your event, and we've had some champagne glasses posted in the comments. I mean, it just speaks to the kind of fun that you generate in that community. There we go again, more champagne glasses. Okay, so I want to wrap up now with a bit of community building 101. So a couple of quick fire questions, and so let's just get straight into it. What's the best thing about HR people?
Oh, they're hilarious.
Hilarious. I'll go with that. Worst thing about traditional networking?
The terrible coffee. Like, I cannot abide. Like, I don't know if you're the same. Like, watery coffee, like insipid coffee. Worst thing ever.
You are speaking my language. Why can't they just put decent coffee on at these events?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my word. It'd be so much better if they did.
Get a Starbucks in there. Other brands are available. That's my vote.
So with you.
One HR topic you wish people would talk about more honestly?
This one, I'm going to say like burnout, right? Burnout and mental health in HR, because, oh my word, HR is the most horrendous job to do. It is obviously wonderfully rewarding, but it's also the most horrendous job to do. And 98% of HR professionals have been or are at burnout. So I want people to talk more about HR burnout, please.
Beautiful. One thing every HR professional should geek out about, Michelle.
Oh, there's too much. There's too much. I feel like my geeky thing, and this is probably very unique, but my geeky thing is employment tribunals. And I don't know if you've ever like come across any of these, but you get like the tribunal write-ups. And I flipping love the weird ones. I love the weird employment tribunals that are about like random stuff. So I think every HR pro should geek out about weird employment tribunals, because they're so entertaining and they give you the gift of learning, but also laughing at the same time. So I'm going weird employment tribunals.
There's nothing stranger than folk, and I often find that real life stories are more interesting than the fictional ones sometimes. Finally then, Michelle, where can people find their squad? And more importantly, where can they find you?
Yes, so you can find me dicking about on LinkedIn. So Michelle Hartley, Finder of Awesome, is me on LinkedIn. And finding your people, I would say, like, follow the joy. That is literally what I did to find my squad. So whatever brings you joy, go and follow it, because there will be a gathering of people doing the same thing. So it might not be the HR Geek Squad, it might not be HR Disrupt, it might not be the Geek Together, but if you follow your joy, the thing that lights you up, you will find your people. So that's my tip to the world.
Love that answer. So, ladies and gents, go and check out Michelle. Go and connect with her on LinkedIn. Make sure you get yourself in at the Great Geek Strod, the Great Geek Get Together. We've got the QR code on the screen here as well. So scan that, get yourselves tickets. And there has been the DisruptHR QR code on there as well. So I'm sure that'll pop up in a little bit.
Yes, there you go. There it is.
My esteemed colleague Verity's on the ball today. So we've got the QR code for Disrupt up there. Get your tickets. It's coming up next month, Disrupt HR on the 24th. So Michelle, thank you. This has been a fantastic chat. And from the comments coming in, I can see that the audience has loved it as well. And those that watch it on the replay are in for a treat. I think the big takeaway for me is that building your network isn't really about collecting connections, right? It's about finding people you can learn from, disagree with, importantly, ask stupid questions of, and occasionally message with. You're not going to believe what just happened. It's that kind of thing that really builds a community, and particularly at a time when work and technology are changing so quickly as well. Having people around you who can challenge your thinking, maybe one of the most valuable bits of professional development you can have in this day and age. So if today has inspired you to get out from behind the screen, which I implore you definitely should, and meet more of your HR people in real life, keep an eye out for the Great Geek Get Together. Try saying that fast 12 times in a row.
We just say TGGT, it's much easier.
Oh, it's not even Get Together, is it? Together.
Great
Geek Together. We'll get it right by the end of the stream. The Great Geek Together and it's not the 12th, is it? It's the 11th. It definitely says the 12th on my... Okay, it's on the 11th of September. At the studio in Birmingham, and of course we've got DisruptHR Birmingham, which takes place on the 24th of September. My goodness, my dates. That one is going to be at the Button Factory again this year, 25 Frederick Street in Birmingham. Fantastic venue, and we'd love to see you at both events, and I think you'll enjoy them both thoroughly. So Michelle, thank you so much for joining me. It's really kind of you to take some time out of your day to come and chat to our audience here today. I'm sure they've got a lot out of it. I know I certainly have. And thank you to everyone who's been watching as well, whether you're watching us live or watching on the replay. You are awesome. keep the comments coming as well. Like we said, with the sessions in these events, the conversation carries on after this live stream closes. So drop us a comment, myself, our team, Michelle, we'll all jump in and we'll get involved in that conversation as well. We'll be back for another HR Live next month, and we'll be meeting some of the speakers and teasing some of the content. So tune in then. Michelle, thanks once again. Audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this useful, fun, or entertaining, any of the above, get a like on it, get a heart on it, share it to your community, and let's spread the word about these fantastic events. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.